Hello there, this is Bic Benedict. We're playing Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition, and this is my Bloody Palace run. And we are currently on the Bloody Palace stages 21 through 40. So I wanted to welcome everybody back to the guide. This will be a 5-part series. I may not have mentioned it in the previous video, but it will be a 5-part series of the Bloody Palace. So the bulk of the videos will be post-commentary, but I will have one that has live commentary. That one will be Bloody Palace stages 61 through 80, which culminates in with the Credo boss fight. This video should have the Baal boss fight, which I did no damage. And we are still, since we're in the early phases of this. It kind of goes from dusk to night to dawn. I love that, the color schemes of everything. But since we're only in stage 22 here, which has 2 Frosts and then a Faust, since we're pretty early on into the game, we're only on Devil Hunter mode, which is the second hardest, or the second level up from human. So we're going to be throwing these guys here and doing some double trigger canceling. So we've got a pair of Frosts and a Faust, excuse me. So I did want to mention some other incidental things. Like I said in the last video, if you use Nero's Buster to rend a Chimera Seed, you only get to base level. I mentioned that last time, regardless of the style points. It only applies to the Chimera Seeds though. You might think to yourself, then, you should still do it because rending them gives you HP. Well, you kill them and they drop HP anyway, normally, with standard attacks like seeds and stuff, and streaks, I should say. But this particular guy, he goes down with 1 charge shot 3, which instantly tells me that this is on one of the easier difficulties. And then I usually like to do a showdown on him when he comes down, which also kills him. So, other things to note. Sometimes, when you're playing the game and the Alto Angelo signifies to the Bianco Angelos to do that kamikaze streak across the screen where they suicide themselves. When they do that, you get the base amount of what they normally give the Biancos when they kill themselves, but it doesn't have any bearing on the stylish points. So the stylish points, incidental, you just get the base amount for that. A little unfortunate, especially when there's a lot of them killing themselves, so you might want some extra time points. But by the time there's, I think there's a wave of 25 of those guys later on in the game. But most of them, they kill themselves, so it may seem like there's a whole hell of a lot of them, and there are. But when they just kill themselves like 4 at a time, you can see how it would not be that challenging. And there's also the matter of the Blitz exploding. Like when you let a Blitz explode by himself, you're going to get the base amount of what a Blitz gives, regardless of the style too. Now, I don't know the how much. I can look it up. I have all the information right in front of me. A Blitz, the base amount of score that you get for a Blitz, and when I say score, I basically mean time. A Blitz will give you 30 seconds. You can get as much as a minute if you kill him with an SSS rank. You'll get 60 seconds for the bonus time. And you also, like I said, you get points for clearing a floor. That will add seconds to your remaining time as well. Floors, I didn't say this in the last video, but floors 1 through 19, if you clear it but take damage, you get 15 seconds. If you clear it and take no damage, you get twice that, so 30 seconds. And then on floors 21 through 99, you get 10 seconds for clearing it, and if you can see where I'm going with this. If you take no damage, then you get 20 seconds, but you have to receive no damage. And then floors 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 are all boss battle floors. And when you enter that floor, you'll see that your time increases by 2 minutes without you having to do anything but just get to the boss. You get 2 extra minutes. And you'll get 30 seconds for clearing a boss. No, do you get 30 or... I think you get... I can't remember for the life of me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you get a minute if you do it no damage, because I think that after I slay Burial with no damage, you'll see 60 seconds extra coming into my time. Had I took damage, though, I would have only got half of that, so 30 seconds. So, bottom line is, always try to keep your style meter as high as you possibly can. I know it's difficult when it's getting constantly degraded by getting hit. But here's another instance where you're fighting a blitz alongside other enemies, and that never happens in the main campaign. So, the other enemies kind of leave you alone when you're doing the throws on the blitz. See how you sometimes get interrupted, other times you don't. But let's see how much the blitz gives us, because it's going to give us 30 seconds if we let him kill him. If we don't do the final shot on him and just let him kill, or I think he's technically dead when he goes from yellow to... Here's how it works. Sorry about this. This is confusing, but I studied a fact sheet before I did all this. And there's a lot to know about the Bloody Palace, but that's, I think, what makes it really interesting. Okay, so when he goes from yellow to red, he's technically dead. So at that point, whatever style you're at when he goes from yellow to red, that's how many bonus points you'll get for that. Unless you let him kill himself by just moving around the room and exploding by himself. How do you prevent that? You need to do a killing shot when he goes from yellow to red and end him there. That means that you've killed him rather than him killing himself. A bit complicated, but you know, everything is in the Bloody Palace. But I like it. It's interesting to go through it once and not really know what's going on. Like, for instance, I didn't know. I thought that just getting to stylish... I just thought that getting the stylish meter built up gave you points, but it's actually per enemy. So it's actually a really intricate and in-depth system that's working on behind the scenes to do all these calculations. You know? And did I mention in the last video, stages 1 through 40, which we're currently amidst, Devil Hunter difficulty, and then it's going to switch to Son of Sparta at at stage 41, and then from 41 through 80 it's going to be on Son of Sparta, and then on 81, after you defeat Credo, it's going to turn to Dante Must Die. Enemies are going to do all the moves that they do on that difficulty, and we'll have to deal with it, because it's like, if you go through some people might be skeptical of this and not know if they should do it. I honestly think you should. Oh, there's also one time when I fell clear off the arena on one of these sections. I thought that the game would be over, but they just reset me into the fight. It was kind of funny to just all of a sudden drop right off the platform. But if you're on the fence about doing this, I will just say that if you can SSS rank the game, and even if you don't do that, even if you defeat Dante Must Die difficulty and you're practiced with the game, this shouldn't be hard, because it is on a lower difficulty, and I normally don't cover anything except the hardest difficulty on my channel, but this does include Dante Must Die, so that's the reason I am focusing on doing this project right now. And if I have to be cheap on Dante, I will. I will use charge shot 3s. You normally can't get away with that many on him. Sometimes it's kind of random, but other times it's like the best thing to do on him. But I was just overconfident the second time I got to him. I beat it once, trying to beat it again, And there is a trophy for beating it in under 2 hours. There's also a trophy for not taking damage on Dante, which for me is out of the question. I can't do that. But even beating it within 2 hours, it's pretty strict. I have not been able to do that ever. I mean, I've only beat this one time, so I don't have that much, to speak about as far as experience and different times I've beat it. But I would say the definite thing you want to do early on is for beginning strategies here, you guys. The things you want to do is try not to take damage on these earlier fights. Even on a fight like this, just, you can run around the room and do the charge shot 3s with the double trigger too for the summon swords. You want to try to avoid taking damage in the early fights so that you build your time up, so therefore you don't have to worry about it later. Speaking from experience, having done this once, as long as like on stages 1 through 20, if you no damage even half of them, you'll be really, really good. Plus if you build the style meter up too, you're going to get more bonus points per kill because it's going to add the base value. Just everything you kill, you get extra time. So I would say it's less about dying by the time than by just dying from a boss or from an enemy. There are plenty of places to practice these bosses. Chapter 19 is probably the best to do practicing on the boss. And it's only Angelo Agnes that's on Dante Must Die, because Burial and Bale, the horse enemy boss and the frog boss, they're both on Devil Hunter, and it's Echidna and Credo who are on Son of Sparta. So you have to consider, like, if you can do Dante Must Die, and take that kind of damage on that difficulty, then you're probably going to be pretty good on a difficulty that's not as hard. So anyway, the blitzes are blind, and they sometimes will attack the other enemies, which is really nice. So what we're trying to do is land a charge shot 3 on this guy. Wait until he stops moving, of course. But even then, when you think he stops moving and then you shoot, sometimes he moves like the second you shoot. It's really irritating. So you want to do the charge shot 3 on him. The explosion should melt his cloak away. Double triggering him will launch him. Sometimes I like to grab him. See, because launching him will waste time. So sometimes I grab him, activate double trigger that way, in that order. Obviously, your first throw at that point then is not going to give you double trigger bonus damage because you've activated it post grab. Okay, so we're just running around the room here waiting for him to expire, so we should get 30 seconds from him since we're letting him kill himself. Yep, 30 seconds. And a stage clear bonus of 10 seconds. Had I done that no damage, it would have gave me 20 seconds, you see. Now these guys here, remember, if you run them, you get 2 seconds, see, 2 seconds every time. However, if you kill them normally, it's an interesting enemy. I'm not sure why. It's the only enemy in this Bloody Palace where if you rend him, tear him apart with the Buster, you get a base value and no extra bonus points. Wouldn't that be interesting if that was applicable to every enemy? It would kind of restrict people from, or at least maybe prevent people from bustering too much. But it's a game built on bustering, so I don't see how that would really be applicable. So on these guys, it's the Buster and the Snatch to get them out of their cloak, as well as a Charge Shot 3 that will drop them instantly. It's a little difficult when there's several of these guys floating around and you're trying to grab one. You've got others on the camera who are trying to attack you at the same time you're throwing. So if you do a double trigger throw, he'll actually throw it faster, so that could save you a little bit of time before the next one attacks. Do you know what I mean? If you've got one on the ground and others in the air circling at you, if you activate the double trigger, the animations are a lot faster when he's throwing them. So it will end the animation more quickly if you're using double trigger. Obviously, there's a double trigger expense, but it regenerates at a good rate anyway. So here are some Scarecrow. Look like I couldn't even see if they're the arms or legs. It doesn't much matter because they're past now. But we're steadily making our way over to Baal. Let's see what stage we're on. We are on stage 33. So this looks like we're going to have a couple of Mephistos and a Mega Scarecrow to deal with. So I like to do the showdown on this guy here, but unfortunately it was too slow and I got hit. So normally after a difficult engagement, what they're going to do is they're either going to give you swords to fight or the Chimera Seeds, and you might be wondering why do that. It's because they're trying in their own kind of unique way, in their subtle way, to give you back HP, because those enemies give out HP quite a lot. So if you're ever coming off like a double blitz fight and then there's Chimera Seeds that come afterwards, it's kind of just the way the game works, and you probably might want to say thank you to the game because it's giving you some health back, which you might need after fighting, a pair of blitzes or something. But do not worry about the double blitz fight. It comes and goes. It's not even that bad. Okay, stage 34. We've got a whole host of these Mephistos here. Oh, this is like that difficulty where there's a lot of enemies. Legendary Dark Knight mode. I wish he had some kind of a rune clearing move, like Virgil's move. I can't remember what it's called. Something like, I don't know. Anyways, I think he would be too overpowered if he had a rune clearing move. I mean, he's already, the charge shot level 3 is so overpowered, it's not even funny. So this is just going to be a guide to complete the game, you guys. It's not going to be to beat any personal best scores or anything, or to do it in a really expeditious manner. It's just to get the people who haven't been able to beat it yet and who want to beat it to actually succeed in beating it. So that's my goal for doing this. It's not to premiere any advanced tactics or anything like that. It's just a beginner's guide and walkthrough. So we're going to use the snatch on this guy to get him out of his cloak. Do a showdown on bitch. Take him down where he needs to be taken down to. And now we'll move on to stage 35. Interesting separation of the enemies right there. And there's going to be quite in the the live commentary video. It's hard to do these videos on this particular run because there's a whole mountain of information to cover, But I think if you just take it one at a time, you'll be pretty good. Always try to get those maximum bets. I love all the systems in this game. I love how that works, because it's based purely on skill. There's nothing, about luck involved. So when you're throwing these guys, try to turn the camera off these other guys. Okay, so we're really high in the stylish points, which is really nice. Always remember that when this time happens, it pauses for you, so you can actually, take a break, go somewhere, do something, and always carry your charged shot and your charged sword through that gate, because sometimes if you don't have the information in front of you, if you can't remember, you could be going into any fight. There could be anything beyond that portal, because there's 101 stages. There's just no way to remember every stage. So why not go into it with the most advantages you possibly can? And I haven't mentioned it yet either, but items are prohibited from being used on this. So if you try to use an item, it's just not going to let you. You can't even go into the item menu. So I do like that. I like how they restrict that from players from maybe cheating or capitalizing on that unfairly. Here's stage 37. We're almost up to 40, you guys. What else? What else goes for this? There is no save feature at all, so it's got to be done without turning the software on. Obviously, you can pause it and do whatever you like, and it pauses by itself after you clear a wave. But I would imagine that on the PC version, which this isn't, I would imagine that there are level saves, and you can pick which stage you want to go to. Basically, I would imagine. It just seems like people would have found out how to do that by now, and selecting the stage you want to go to. Saving, there's probably even a save feature on the PC version, the modded version, I should say. Okay, so we're just looking to take this guy out here. We took a swipe. All bets are off for no damage, but it's okay. Like, it doesn't... I always do try to go for that no damage, but it's not of critical importance when you've... I think when you're beyond 15 minutes, like, you're fine. You get time added to your score just by going to the boss fight. It's pretty lenient. So here's some more Mephistos. I think we're on room or stage 38. So we've got 2 Mephistos, and I think we're also going to have a Blitz. Yep, there's the Blitz. If you're wondering, I have in front of me, I have on my phone a list of every battle on here, so I can just quickly refer to which battle we're on. But like I was saying, with the refill system and how they kind of uniquely do it, after this fight they're going to drop in 9 Chimera Seeds, and that basically means, or the game is telling you, here is some free health, because we just gave you a Blitz to fight, and Blitzes are quote-unquote, pretty hard. I actually wouldn't say they're hard. I don't think they're hard. I think sometimes, like, when they're exploding and they grab you, I think that's pretty dangerous. But I think there's a Faust, too, after this. Oh, that's in the next room, I'm sorry. Chimera Seeds are going to be in the next room. Chimera Seeds times 9 and a Faust. And then in the next stage we'll be fighting Baal. And I've got some new info on Baal now that I've... just one new fact that I'll share when the boss fight occurs. But this is a really easy way to get your no damage by running around the room and doing the charge shot 3. However, sometimes these guys do a really fast little scamper across the screen and can attack you. And it's even harder on some of the... On the night, what I would constitute the night stage on this, where the screen turns black and there's like electricity on the floor and it looks pretty cool, all the lights and stuff. You might want to turn the brightness up a little bit because it's hard to see the enemies on that particular phase of the Bloody Palace. But we almost should be done with this guy. And just remember, if you're fearful of Baal, just remember, he's not even on Son of Sparta difficulty. We haven't even got to Son of Sparta. We will in the next stage of the Bloody Palace, but Baal is on Devil Hunter mode. So if you've gone through the game on Dante Must Die, this guy should be a piece of cake for you. So bring your charged sword and your gun through the warp portal, and now we'll take him on. His tongue is his weak area, although it's that irony of you don't want to be in front of his mouth for very long because he has a tendency to bite you and eat you. Now, when he does this, you want to do the charged maximum bet followed by a charged shot 3, and then when these guys drop in, they're grabbable. They're only grabbable when they drop in, like that, or when they do a very specific move like this. Right after that, there's like a 2-second window when you can grab them. Otherwise, they're ungrabbable. So don't even try to buster and snatch them. See, when they drop down, I couldn't lock onto that one properly. But there's when they drop down, I think it's a 2-second window for each occasion. But those are the 2 times when you can always grab them. Okay, so he fell, and it kind of gave off the semblance that he was in a stunnable position, but I don't think he was. So we're going to throw another charged maximum bet at him, followed by a charged shot 3, and he's almost dead. See how fast these bosses go down in this difficulty? See, they dropped in, Buster Snatch, and here he is, one more hit, and he is a dead frog. So that has been Bloody Palace stages 21 through 40. I will see you guys in 41 through 60. So go through the portal here, and like I said, I'll see you over there, and take care.